Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of AEW Dynamite for December the 16th, 2020. And I am being joined by a very special guest, back by popular demand from the North Pole. He's got his helpers there with him, getting ready for the big holiday. Santa, indeed. Welcome back. How you doing, my friend?
It is good to be back with my No DQ family. I love appearing with you, Aaron. I'm so glad to be back. It's good to be in updated clothing. I've had this same suit for many centuries now, and it feels nice to have a decent checkered shirt on. I gotta tell you, it feels good. So I'm very happy. Got my hair done today. Got my wig all nice and treated. So we're ready to go.
Yeah, your beard looks fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Great job. Great job. The work that they're doing up there to keep Santa prepped for the holidays, keep him photo friendly and all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Love it. All right. So we have Dynamite. We're getting close to the end of the year. Let's talk about this show. We were live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
We kicked off the show with a 6-man tag team match. We had Hangman Adam Page teaming up with the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, against Matt Hardy and the Private Party. You had Page's team off to a hot start, and they were even doing some nice triple team offense. However, Matt Hardy was able to make the save, and Hardy hit a twist of fate on the floor. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Private Party hit the gin and juice to Reynolds, and then Hardy tagged himself in and picked up the win and acted like he was the one responsible for the win. Now, granted, he did take out Silver with the twist of fate on the floor, but it was Private Party that hit the move that put away Reynolds. So I wonder if this is going to be maybe a slow build towards a Matt Hardy heel turn. What were your thoughts on this, Santa? Was Matt Hardy a bad boy? Not like Joey Janela, but was he bad?
Right. He was indeed. He seemed very selfish, Aaron. I'm not going to lie. And I can't lie. Santa Claus. So, I'm very curious where this is going to go. I see everything and I know everything, but even Santa Claus, am puzzled by the actions of Matthew Hardy.
As am I. We'll see where this goes. We had MJF backstage with the Inner Circle. MJF had his nice award from the New York Times because of the segment with MJF and Chris Jericho several weeks back. By the way, what were your thoughts on that musical performance that they did?
I was okay by it. You know, it was a fun segment for us to watch at the North Pole. I will say the elves were quite intrigued by the dancing skills of everybody involved, and they wanted to do a similar number, and I said nobody can dance quite like Chris Jericho and Max, guys. Sorry.
Now, I have to put you on the spot here, Santa. MJF, is he on your naughty or nice list?
Well, you know, he goes back and forth. I'll be honest, Aaron. He's been quite a naughty boy in his time in All Elite Wrestling, but I have it on good authority. He is a fan of several people I am very fond of, so I kind of keep him in between, and we'll see what happens come next Thursday night.
All right. So anyways, MJF said he could not have done it without Jericho winning the award and such. And he said it's terrible that people on social media are saying how he is better than Jericho. That's just not right, because Jericho is very much a part of that success.
Exactly.
All right. Next up, we had a video of Cody, Rhodes, and Brandi in their home, and we had a big reveal. Brandi is expecting. They are going to be having a baby in 2021. What were your thoughts on this, Santa? I guess they were a bit naughty, but they're going to have something nice coming in 2021.
It was very hard to keep this secret from you guys yesterday on when I was doing the predictions. I knew about this, but I can't say anything. It's not my place. So, it's Santa knows everything. So yeah, it was very hard to keep the secret, but I'm very happy for Cody and Brandi. I've been a fan of both of them for a very long time, and it's going to be fun to hear the commentators say the great grandson or great granddaughter of a plumber. It's going to be hysterical to hear that on television.
And we already have the jokes on social media about how in 25 years it's going to be Birdie, perhaps if it's a girl, Cody's kid, them in the ring against each other.
There you go.
We'll see, or maybe
the future of AEW versus WWE right there. There you go.
Yeah, maybe it'll be, if it's a boy, it can be Cody and Brandi's son against Nikki Bella's son.
There you go.
Lots of possibilities. 25, 30 years from now, I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of second generation kids, third generation kids with Cody's kid going at it. Fourth. Thank you for that, Jeff. It's crazy. It's hard to keep track.
Well, that is one of the drawbacks of being immortal. I get to see the good and the bad and everything.
Yeah, very, very true, Santa. That is quite accurate. Ho ho ho!
Oh yes.
All right, now let's move on here because we had a match with Cody. Cody Rhodes up against Angelico, who was out there with Jack Evans. Cody, of course, had his coach, Arn Anderson, because when you're as great as Cody, you need a coach like Arn Anderson.
Absolutely.
And you had Brandi out there. They had their big moment in the ring.
Was she not just beaming when she walked out to the stage? I thought that was adorable.
Yeah, that was really cool. And to me, this was the highlight of the show, the whole pregnancy revelation.
I would say
I thought that was the best thing about Dynamite. So match was solid. Cody missed a disaster kick. Hurt his leg, and Angelico put on the Navarro Deathlock, which Cody was able to get out of and ended up hitting a Cody cutter to pick up the win. And then after the match was over, we had Team Taz showing up, and they were basically spoiling the party. Taz did congratulate them, but was kind of making fun of them, started trash talking, and said that he's gonna put Cody on paternity leave. And just as they were heading to the ring to put a hurting on Cody, the lights went out. Sting made his appearance. Tony Schiavone with a not so exciting "It's Sting." Bad enough that he had to do it a second time. And, the first week Sting came out, it was really cool. It was organic. This week, it felt forced coming from Tony.
Yes.
And then on top of that, Sting had his old baseball bat. And for some reason, even though it's 5 guys against a 62-year-old man, they were terrified of Sting with a baseball bat, and they backed off. Sting winked at Cody, glared up at Darby Allin, who was in the rafters, and then took his leave. And that was all of Sting this week. Kind of felt a little bit of a letdown. I was hoping we would get some kind of big storyline progression. Instead, Sting just comes out with a wink and leaves. Really, no point in Sting even being on the show, in my opinion. What were your thoughts?
Well, I feel terrible for this segment. I'll tell you why. It's all my fault, really. It's all Santa's fault. Santa takes the blame here. If I hadn't rejected Taz's application to be an elf all those years ago, he would have never gotten to wrestling, and we would have never had to deal with his garbage of being a obnoxious Twitter personality and being back in AEW. So I'm sorry. It's my fault.
That was very bad of you, Jeff. Not Jeff, Santa, excuse me.
You're the worst kayfaber, I swear to God, dude.
Well, this is what happens when you start taking shots at people. I got a great character.
Well, yeah. Okay. Honestly, the segment did fall flat. I mean, they advertised the Sting's on Dynamite tonight, and he comes out there and, like I said, a 60-year-old man holds off 5 guys with a baseball bat. And like, dude, Hobbs could have Sting for breakfast right now, and they're holding him back. That was ridiculous. So
yeah, I think the segment could have been a lot more impactful. No pun intended.
Ha ha.
So backstage,
naughty.
Yes, we had Miro backstage, who was fined $75,000 for attacking officials the other week. And Miro said that Orange Cassidy owes him that money, and he's going to break the internet again by facing Sonny Kiss on an upcoming edition of AEW Dark. Somehow, I don't think that's going to break the internet, just saying. And he then said he has a big announcement coming about Kip Sabian's wedding date. Man, I'm on the edge of my seat for that one, Santa. I'm just like, I cannot wait for that wedding. It's going to be the biggest wedding in the history of our sport. And Miro finished his promo by saying "bah humbug" to the people that are upset about him attacking those guys and putting them in the hospital, because Christmas time is Miro's birthday. It's Miro Day on Christmas, as you know, Santa.
Right.
Every day is Miro Day, right?
Well, that would be the theory if either company knew what the heck to do with him. That's the thing. So.
And Caleb Jacobs in the chat room says AEW is destroying WWE in the ratings. Well, the demo, AEW did win the demo. I'm going to go on a limb and say AEW does not win the demo against Raw this week. Just don't think it's going to happen. This Dynamite did not feel like something that was going to get people tuning in and building up a lot of hype and suspense. Like, I don't know. But we'll talk more about our overall thoughts at the end here in just a few minutes.
Just remember, Santa sees everything and knows everything. Don't get your hopes up for this Miro segment in a couple weeks. Yeah.
We had Eddie Kingston come to the ring for a promo, and he talked about how Pac went back home to nurse his injuries. His career is done. He started to bring up Lance Archer, and that's when we had Archer arrive in the building. He started fighting Eddie Kingston, and then Eddie's backup, Butcher and Blade, they arrived. Penta and Phoenix made the save, and then Pac showed up. Pac was back. No Pac overseas. Pac was back on Dynamite, and the good guys got the upper hand. Archer was going to choke slam Eddie, but then Pac came in with a kick to Eddie. Archer was pissed off about that, and the bad guys fled, and that was the end of the segment. Your thoughts on this storyline progression with these guys?
I actually I found myself confused for a moment because I had forgot that Ray and Penta had left Eddie. I completely forgot about that. I'm so busy with all this work. I mean, I'm on crunch time up here, so I apologize for my lapse in memory there. But yes, I actually like this segment. I've always liked Pac. I enjoyed him when he was working for that company down by you all, PWG. He was great there, and he's been great all around. WWE, another missed opportunity for a great talent. So it looks like AEW is going to do the right thing with him, and I think that pairing him with the two luchadors against Eddie is definitely the way to start this thing down the road for sure.
Oh, and Virtue wants to know, what are your favorite cookies?
My personal favorite are chocolate chip cookies, but I have a very high affinity for white chocolate macadamia, especially from Subway. Those are delicious.
Oh yeah, I agree. Those Subway cookies are great. I love mint chocolate chip cookies. Those are pretty amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. One of our fellow no DQers, Greg Cherry, his wife made chocolate chip cookies today. A big old spread on her Facebook page. I'll have to see if I can snag one of those next Thursday night.
All right, so we had Dustin Rhodes backstage, and he talked about how 7 was a bad idea years ago, and it was bad last week. And he said all of the members of the Dark Order will fail, and he vowed to kick Evil Uno's ass next week. Man, that's one match I'm really excited about, man. Oh boy, Dustin Rhodes versus Evil Uno next week. Now, to be fair, next week is a throwaway show. They're going to be airing after the NBA game, so they're probably going to start at 10. And I guess I'll say it now, I'm not going to be recapping Dynamite next week just because I'm not going to start a stream at midnight unless it's a pay-per-view. Those are the only exceptions when there's a big pay-per-view. But if NXT is on at the usual time, I think I'll do an NXT live stream next week. Not much from NXT this week either. I had the show on, felt very much like a filler show as well.
The one thing I did notice about NXT, I was going to bring it up when you're talking about Cody's match with Angelico. They had another local guy for you, Russ Taylor, who used to be Ryan Taylor for Jesse Fernandez's federation, EWF. He was wrestling in Ciampa. I am so impressed with that young man. I think he's going to be something big at NXT. Now they finally signed him. He's had a crazy year. He went from the Indies to Ring of Honor to WWE within like a hop, skip, and a jump. It was amazing how he progressed. It was really cool for him.
Yeah, I didn't see much of it, but from what I read on Twitter, it sounded like he got a good response from the fans.
He got a great response. Ciampa won, of course, because it's Tommaso Ciampa. But after the match, I forget the gentleman's name, and I apologize. He came out and kind of pumped Taylor up and reminded him how he's a star, and they did the fist bump and they walked together. So things are happening in the world of Russ Taylor, and I'm very happy for him.
All right, let's get back to Dynamite. We had a 12-man tag team match. Wardlow was not there because he had a family issue and he could not travel.
Yes.
We had the Best Friends along with Top Flight and the Varsity Blondes against the Inner Circle and MJF with Orange Cassidy on commentary, although Orange Cassidy just sat there and didn't really do anything. Typical Orange Cassidy.
He pulled the cables out of the headset and just had them hanging in his hand. Again, much like Mr. Meacham the last few weeks, like Orange Cassidy has grown as a entertaining competitor and an entertaining personality on the show. Like, who else does that stuff? It's hysterical.
We had Jericho and Pillman Jr. starting off the match, which was kind of cool given the history between Jericho and Brian Pillman Sr.
Very nice.
The announcers brought that up. That was a nice touch. First time they ever locked up. So
yeah, it was very weird to have Chris Jericho and Brian Pillman's son with Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross on commentary. I was having a moment for a minute there.
Nostalgic moment for sure.
Yes.
And we had a little revisiting of the Best Friends and Santana Ortiz feud. They went at it. Then there was a huge brawl with everybody in the ring. Faces cleared things out, and we got the 6-way hug with everybody. Give the people what they want, yada, yada, yada.
And a COVID war 6-way hugging. That's what we want, clearly.
I felt like these multi-man matches are usually really fast-paced, lots of big spots. And I felt like this show in general, they were kind of not doing as much, maybe because of JR's comments. I wonder if JR struck a nerve with people, because am I the only one that noticed, like, it felt like they were doing fewer high spots on this show?
I also noticed that as I was watching both shows. I was like, I had AEW on my main TV here in the office, and I had my the NXT on the side monitor. And JR's comments definitely had an impact, I believe, on tonight's show for sure.
No pun intended with the impact line, of course.
I see what you did there. No pun whatsoever.
All right, so back to the match. Jake Hager ended up hitting what I think was an F10. I'm not really sure what the hell it was. But anyways, he hit it, and MJF asked to be tagged in, and MJF was tagged in, and he made the pinfall. So there you go. Kind of like the beginning, except at least MJF asked for the tag. So he's less of a dick than Matt Hardy on this show. Kind of interesting there.
That shows how we're progressing as human beings on AEW Dynamite. Matt Hardy's more of the what you said than MJF. I find that hysterical.
So after the match, Top Flight, they went after Jericho and MJF, sent them out of the ring, and I guess Top Flight, they're going to get a match on next week's show, and boy, oh boy, I cannot wait for that. I'm very excited to see Top Flight in action.
Hey, I don't mind Top Flight as long as they are able to do what they can do, but they're held back. So we'll see how it plays out.
Right. And we had Thunder Rosa cut a promo on Britt Baker, and she was confronted by Rebel Reba, whatever her name is. I'm never sure because the announcers never seem to know what her name is. What is it, Santa?
I always call her Rebel, and if I'm at DLE's place, which I will be Thursday night, obviously, because some people will be there, I'm sure, doing some work. I'll call her Reba in front of the AEW people, but for now, she's Rebel.
Okay, so Rebel confronted Rosa, and Baker attacked her from behind, saying that she doesn't belong there, and they dumped water on her to wash away her paint, and Britt called her ugly, all that stuff. It was all right. Nothing too noteworthy in my opinion.
I love the Mean Girl segments in 2020. Just fascinating stuff.
Oh, so that's what it was. I didn't even know what it was a reference to.
There's no reference to Mean Girls, but it's anytime you see girls bullying other girls, it's it's a Mean Girl throwback. It's beautiful people. It's Bellas. It's Play Cool. It's all the same silly shtick.
Yeah. Didn't really do anything for me. And next up, we had SCU. I know your buddy Jeff, who you're very close with. I always mix you guys up because you're both very jolly.
Well, thank you.
They were in action against the Acclaim, and man, this was maybe the cringiest thing of the entire show. This rivaled The Miz doing the Nightmare Before TLC. So the Acclaim came out, and they did a John Cena-like rap. That's their gimmick. They're like They're like the Wish.com version of John Cena. Felt like men on a mission.
You know, it was almost as bad as the guy that used to be on your shows back in the day doing his freestyles. Almost as bad. Just terrible. Oh my goodness, terrible. Oh.
Yeah, well, can't argue that, Santa. But anyways, Kazarian had a response. So this was very much, as Virtue pointed out, this was very much like that Kurt Angle and John Cena rap battle from 2003, where Kaz was the role of Kurt Angle making his comeback and surprisingly holding his own. But the thing is, John Cena did really well, and then Kurt Angle held his own against Cena, who did great. Yeah. In this case, the Acclaim, they were just total cringeworthy. And then Kazarian totally smoked them. Like, it wasn't great or anything, but he was miles ahead of them. And he did call them men on a mission, which I thought was hilarious and very true.
That was tremendous. Yes.
I mean, this was, a total burial of these guys. And the only thing he messed up was he said that, like 2020, the Acclaimed, the whole thing was the shit. But the thing is, you're supposed to say it's shit, not the shit. If you say the shit, that's actually a compliment. So Kazarian kind of screwed it up.
Well, Mrs. Claus, I apologize in advance. If something's bad, it's the shits with plural. If it's great, it's the shit. There's the difference.
You have to remove the if you want to actually diss something.
Well, no, because even if it's bad, like for example, I remember on a documentary, somebody was talking about they came back from a match and Vince told him that was the shits. That was terrible. That's when it's bad. When it's the with a plural S, HITS, then it's bad. And yes, Virtue, if you want to engage Santa in a rap battle, by all means, I am all for that.
You should give him the link to this stream so he can come on and rap battle you.
Oh, are you putting Santa on the spot, young man?
No, he won't do it anyways. Virtue's tired. It's past his bedtime. I'm going to get all the troll comments now from him. But anyways, Kev said
he's been trolling for the past 20 minutes. So, yeah.
Kev says this was terrible. Roman Reigns tater tots was bad cringe.
Oh, goodness.
That's pretty brutal. I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, this was not too good. And anyways, the Bucks were at ringside for this match, and one of the guys used the boom box, and then the other one pinned Daniels. After the match, they cut another rap promo on the Bucks saying that they're like girls on their cycle. Again, trying to be John Cena, but with about 1/10 the charisma.
Last week on Dark that licked their opponent after the match.
Well, I haven't watched Dark in a long time, so
okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember watching Dark last week, and the taller guy actually licked his opponent after the match, like on the head. I was very put off by that. It was very disturbing.
How do you have time, Santa, to watch 15 matches of AEW Dark every week?
I didn't watch them all. I watched here and there.
Oh, all right then. So the gist of all this is that next week it will be the Young Bucks against the Acclaimed for the tag team titles. Very excited for that one, of course.
Oh, you seem very excited for the show in general, sir.
Oh yeah, this best Dynamite ever. Why is every Dynamite the best Dynamite ever?
Because Tony Schiavone's on the call.
There you go.
It's the greatest night in the history of our sport.
So next up, we had Ivelisse and Diamante versus Big Swole and Serena Deeb. And can you guess what time this segment aired?
9:30.
The 9:30 slot every single week. That is the women's designated time on Dynamite, with like one exception in the past 2 months. That is when they are on. So you could just know if you turn on your TV at 9:30, you know you're going to get a women's segment like 9 times out of 10. Exactly. Anyways, match was fine. I had no real issues with it. Swole picked up the win with her submission, the Clearwater Cloverleaf. I wonder if Dean Malenko gave her some pointers on that one.
Wouldn't surprise me. He is a producer for them.
Yep.
Or a coach. Sorry. They're called coaches there. I'm sorry, AEW. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever. Coach, producer, same thing. So after the match, Nyla Rose attacked Deeb, and Vicky Guerrero with the worst kicks of all time. Like, They were so bad. Like, why was she even kicking somebody? Like, I think your worst heel managers in wrestling history had better kicks than that.
It made me harken back to that time where Jeff cut a promo right after WrestleMania in 2010, where Vicky did what was dubbed the Hog Splash, and he went off on a brief promo before he did the live reaction show. He was upset. I don't blame him for a minute. Vicky Guerrero is about as coordinated as Vince McMahon was 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was rough. And then Red Velvet made the save with a steel chair, ran them off, and yeah, segment was all right. Other than Vicky's kicks, segment was okay. No other complaints about it.
And here's my question with that: where did that progress either championship contender situation? Like, Soul got the victory, but she was Serena's partner. So where does that go? And
I
then,
don't know.
And then the AEW championship wasn't even mentioned, except like in passing.
Well, yeah, next week Sheeta's in action again, so basically a squash match.
Okay, so about 11:30 or so, or about to 10:30 or so, we'll see her.
Oh, I see what you did there, Santa. Very clever.
Well, actually, if it's on at 10, she'll be on at 11:30, not 10:30, 11:30.
Right, exactly. So 11:30 Eastern, we'll see Sheeta pick up a win over one of their enhancement women.
Very likely, yes.
We had Jurassic Express in a video package and FTR. They were not happy about this. Why haven't FTR gotten their rematch, by the way? Like, I feel like I'm in the WWE mindset, because why do the champions never get rematches or want rematches? I don't think Jericho ever got his world title rematch ever. And FTR, why are they not getting a rematch? Like, I don't understand that with AEW. I guess once you lose the title, you're back of the line because of the rankings. I don't know. But then again, I think the Acclaimed are like the 5th ranked tag team and they're getting a tag team title shot. So I don't even understand the rankings or any of this stuff, but apparently it all makes sense according to the AEW faithful. Can you explain it to me, Santa? Do you have any idea?
I do not. Santa usually knows everything, but I can't. I don't want to get in the mind of Tony Khan and the EVPs. It's a very scary place to be.
Ho ho ho. So yeah, FTR was not happy, and I guess they're just going to complain for the next couple weeks until we get the rematch. Maybe Revolution, maybe that's why. Same thing with Moxley. We haven't seen John Moxley in weeks. Where's he at? Did he get embarrassed so badly he just went home to nurse his wounds? Like, what's going on? Like, why isn't he on the show getting his?
Maybe he's helping Renee promote her cookbook by having video segments of him cooking things.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
Why not?
I haven't been following what Renee Young's been posting on social media, but maybe
Renee has a cookbook. It's going to be published, I believe, in March. So the pre-orders are underway.
All right, so that takes priority over the AEW championship. Got it.
Well, when you're going to be a father and you got your little lady at home, you have to take care of business at home. Nobody knows that better than Santa between the 26th and December 24th.
Exactly. All right, so we had our main event, the bad boy, Joey Janela. Now, Santa, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the bad boy? Is he on your naughty list for sure, or is he not really that bad?
He uses far too many tables, and he's just too extreme for Santa. Santa's not a fan.
So he's naughty list.
Naughty list, definitely.
He is indeed a bad boy.
Yes, very much so.
The bad boy, Joey Janela, with Sonny Kiss against Kenny Omega, and I think it was explained that the reason Janela was getting a title match, I believe this was a title match, but I'm not actually 100% sure. The reason that Janela was getting this match because he was eliminated from the Eliminator tournament due to the whole thing with the COVID-19 concerns. And by the way, we do have a super chat here.
We do. I'm surprised. There we go. Yes, Gary said, where'd it go? Hang on, there it goes. Gary Paredes says, Omega the better heel, better than Boreman Pains. Whoa, bold statement from Gary.
Virtue, it's too bad Virtue's not on here right now because Virtue would have a lot to say about that.
Virtue, if you want the link, let Santa know.
Yeah, let's get Virtue on if he's not asleep already.
No, he's not. He's still chatting along, so.
Oh, well, he's probably lying in bed with his iPad and, he's got his nightlight on.
Doesn't mean we can't invite him in, Mr. Riff. Just give Santa a minute here. Santa's old and has trouble moving his joints around, so just give me a second.
He's probably got his dog hunter with him there. He doesn't want to have to get up and get dressed and come on the video. So, he doesn't need to come
I
on tonight.
I had Jeff send him the link in the group chat, so hopefully he will appear.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Oh, he's naked. So,
no, do not
he has
come on
to
the
put on clothes. He has to put on clothes.
Well, okay, yeah.
And we do not want nudity on this live.
No more nudity on the ODQ streams. That's not okay. No.
Yeah, no. So, anyways,
right now, kick somebody's ass if somebody comes on this show naked. I swear to God, I will.
I don't blame you on that.
Okay.
So, anyways, Justin Roberts did the introduction for Kenny Omega, and I still don't understand why Justin Roberts is so willing to do this big grand intro for Omega after Omega embarrassed the company. He screwed over Jon Moxley. He's going on Impact Wrestling, but Justin Roberts is like, yeah, I'm going to give this guy the epic intro. Like, why? I don't understand it.
Well, I believe Jeff explained it to you, but I'll try to go off of what he said.
Yeah, please.
At the end of the day, Justin was recruited from being dismissed by WWE by the Elite, and the Elite does include, whether we all as AEW fans like to admit it or not, Kenny Omega is part of the Elite, and Justin Roberts owes him at least partly his job. So,
well, I guess that makes sense. Maybe there was something on Being the Elite where Justin Roberts explained why he owes so much to Kenny Omega that
there was. And all I know is I don't want to upset Don Callis either if I'm Justin Roberts. So Don Callis can kick Justin Roberts behind. So I don't want to upset Cyrus the Virus. I'm good.
No, I don't blame you on that. We have another super chat here from Gary. Go ahead.
Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
This heel Kenny, it's effing on fire. You have very colorful language and very bold statements, Mr. Paredes. And you're an Eagles fan, which makes you just, yeah, goodbye. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so anyway.
I mean, it's okay, I guess. I'm still not. See, here's the thing, to use Jeff Meacham's line.
Yes.
Omega did this really bad thing, but, he kind of just acts like a guy in the middle. He doesn't act like a full-blown heel. He had Don Callis help him win the title, but, he hasn't really acted like a full-blown heel, in my opinion. He kind of just acts like that guy in the middle who, kind of acts cocky, but I don't know.
He's very unlike Roman. When Roman did his thing with Paul Heyman on the SmackDown brand, he committed full bore. Roman is a heel. He is beating up his family members, and he's doing the things he is doing for the sake of his family, for the sake of his heritage, and for the sake of being the champion. Yeah. That's the difference. Omega, yeah, he did a naughty thing by having Don Callis help him screw Jon Moxley, but it'd be a bigger thing if he was on Impact more and popping their rating for them, which he's not. So that's the thing.
Yeah, and why did Omega? What's his motivation for his actions?
Well, I mean, my only thing is he and Don have a huge connection going way back. I know you don't watch very much New Japan, but Don has been chatting everybody up about Kenny since Kenny's been there, since Kenny's been the guy in Meltzer's eyes. So Don and Kenny go way back, much like Don and Jericho go way back. So.
Well, Power Packers 90 says Kenny is the best heel in wrestling, period. Well, I respectfully disagree with that one. And wow, we have a $20 super chat from DJW. Thank you so much. He's definitely on the nice list this year, right, Santa?
After that, for sure, yes. He says, happy holidays, guys. Which faction in AEW at this point are you guys more emotionally invested in and most entertained by? Team Taz or the Inner Circle, and why? You guys can answer at the end since it's off topic. Sorry, I'm at work. At least he acknowledged he was off topic. I applaud that, sir.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a few minutes here as we wrap up this match, because it actually was not very long. It went for about, 6 minutes at tops. It was the last segment, and I kind of felt that they rushed through it. I felt they would have done more for this main event, considering it was, Kenny Omega, the world champion. But they blew through it pretty quickly. Tony Schiavone had a funny line because during Justin Roberts' big entrance for Omega, they talked about the Impact numbers, how Omega showed up and Impact's numbers went up. Of course, that was last week, not this week.
They went
and Tony Schiavone had a funny line about how Impact's numbers went from a 1 to a 6. I like that. I like the little digs at Impact. And we do have another super chat in here.
Yes, from Psycho Jet Black, $5. Thank you, sir. I would feel bad for Rich Swann being clowned out by Omega and Callis if he didn't come off as such a scrub. Ricochet has more credibility than Swann. Wowzers. If Psycho J Black is giving Ricochet credit, it is what it is, folks.
Yeah, and I kind of like the 6-man match that they're doing for the pay-per-view, but I was hoping we were going to get a big ending on this show. And let's talk about what happened at the end. We'll talk about the match here real quick. Lots of trash can usage in it. Joey used the trash can right off the bat. Callis was there at ringside. He wanted to do commentary, and he told Tony to give him the headset, and Tony basically said to kiss his ass, which I thought was pretty funny. Tony had a couple really good lines on this show. I liked it.
Definitely the star announcer of this show, without question.
Yeah, other than the forced Sting line, everything else Tony did was pretty good. And Callis then decided to start talking during the match on the mic. This kind of reminded me of Bobby Lashley and Leo Rush. I was hoping he would go Kenny, just a little throwback. That would have been nice. But anyways, he kept mocking JR, saying "by God" over and over again. Omega got on the mic and said, "Get up, Joey." Kept telling him to get up. Omega hit a moonsault using the trash can. He then put the trash can on Janela and did a double stomp with the trash can. Joey made a brief comeback with a reverse Hurricane Rana, and Sonny Kiss set up a table. And even though Sonny Kiss set up the table, Janela did not go through the table. It was actually Omega. Omega was on the table, and Janela came off the top with a leg drop through the table. He then got him back in the ring, went for a moonsault, but he missed. And then Omega hit 2 V-triggers, 1 winged angel, and picked up the victory. At this point, I'm like, you know what? Maybe Moxley shows up. Maybe Anderson and Gallows. I was hoping we would get Anderson and Gallows on this show just to keep the momentum going from Impact and, have somebody from Impact on this show that could get people talking. But no Moxley, no Anderson, no Gallows, no big cliffhanger. Well, the cliffhanger was Pac. It was Pac and Phoenix and Penta coming out, and Pac said that Phoenix never lost the tournament. So, same thing as Janela not being eliminated from the tournament by being pinned or submitted. Same thing with Phoenix. He got pulled from the tournament. And Pac said that he talked to Tony Khan. The match has already been made for the 30th New Year's Evil. Main event is Omega versus Phoenix, which should be a great match. But, no chance Phoenix is winning that title. This is like Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles. It'll be a good match, but yeah, Phoenix ain't winning the title.
Are both shows December 30th AEW and January 6th NXT being called New Year's Evil?
New Year's Evil is just January 6th.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
AEW is doing 2 weeks of their New Year's Smash. And next week's show, they announced a bunch of matches. And again, it's a filler show for next week because they're going to be airing later than usual. And then 2 weeks, it's Phoenix versus Omega, which good match. But yeah, I don't think that's the match that's going to get them close to 1 million viewers. If that's their goalpost that they're trying to reach, I don't think that's going to be the match. So overall, I hate to say it, and I probably sounded salty through a lot of this recap, but I was let down by this show. I thought the wrestling was good, but it felt so underwhelming compared to the last couple of weeks. I thought, you know what? You guys had your best demo last week, and you got some momentum. You're live this week. You go all out. Either Anderson and Gallows show up, or you do something to keep the momentum going, some big storyline progression, keep the people hooked. And yeah, they didn't do much. It felt like a lame duck show, a filler show. We do have a super chat from Power Packers 90, and thank you for that. What did he say?
He says Mox is in quarantine for the Tokyo Dome. That's right. He's going to be defending the U.S. title in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, so he is doing that. I wasn't even sure if he was doing that or not. Okay.
I even Santa forgets, kids. I'm sorry. Yes, very true. And then another $2 super chat from Roy W, who says, what was AEW's ratings last week? Mr. Rift?
Well, they were very close to 1 million last week, and it was a taped show, and they had their best demo of the year, which actually beat the demo for Raw this past Monday. Raw, of course, did its worst television viewership of all time lowest for Raw.
Since 93 all time?
Yeah, lowest viewership ever for Monday Night Raw. Now, of course, there's other avenues to watch, YouTube and watching on Twitter and whatnot. So, it's not quite as bad as it seems, but it's still a shockingly low number. And, there is a pandemic too. So the excuses are going to be there. Still, it's a sign of the times that people are not going to sit around and watch a 3-hour Raw, except for your diehard fans.
Right. Yep, exactly.
So let's do the letter grade. I'm going to be generous and give it a C. I mean, I was leaning towards a C minus, but the wrestling was good. I just was expecting more from this show. I'm going to go with a C.
I would say a C is a fair assessment of the show. Israel says it was. Let's see here.
Yeah, it was average. It was an average show by Dynamite standards. I would say it was better than Raw, but it was also a 2-hour show and not a 3-hour show.
Right.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of C's in the chat room for the show, and we do have another super chat from Psycho Jet Black.
Let's see. I do. Sudar, he says, "Do you remember Mahoney as Santa Claus?" I do, and there's a reason he went to ECW shortly after that. I nipped that in the bud right away.
All right, let's go back to that B plus. You're showing us some of the
shoot. There we go. Okay, sorry.
All right, so let's talk about the factions, Team Taz and the Inner Circle. Inner Circle has been great, and I am curious to see what happens with MJF. But Team Taz is picking up some momentum. I like the potential of Team Taz. Taz does great mic work, and those guys could potentially be stars in AEW. What are your thoughts, Jeff, of the two factions at this point?
Ricky Starks is the wrestler of the future. He's the guy. He was so great as the NWA TV champion and on that show, NWA Power before the pandemic, and the entire thing with Lagana went down and they had to reboot pretty much. So I look forward to great things from him. I've always liked Brian Cage. He was one of the last two official clients of Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer. So I approve of him as well. Again, Taz is who Taz is. He's a great performer. He's got great mic skills. There's a reason he was put on commentary when he couldn't wrestle anymore, because the guy can talk a blue streak. And Hobbs has the potential for days, and I forget the fourth gentleman's name in that team, but he's definitely got a lot going for him too. But the Inner Circle is just so darn entertaining. You've got Jericho, who 30 years and he still wrestles like he's 20. He's one of the greatest of all time. MJF, who could go on to be the AEW breakout player, but by the time this company's all said and done. Santana Ortiz are a great tag team. Jake Hager's got stuff they haven't tapped into yet. There's a whole lot of good in that Inner Circle as far as skill, and I don't see anything shutting them down except internal strife, which with MJF kind of chirping along there at Jericho's chin there, he might catch one on the chin before too long.
Yeah. And I do agree with Curtis Butler. I think it's a bit overkill with the factions. You got at least 4 in AEW, maybe 5. You got the Death Triangle, Inner Circle, Jurassic Express, Team Taz.
Dark Order.
You got Dark Order. So that's
Nightmare
5
Family.
Right there. Nightmare Family. So that's 6. 6
the
factions.
Got the Bucks. I don't think there's one person not involved in some sort of faction or another.
Moxley.
There you go.
Moxley's
and he's not even there right now. So there you go.
Yeah, but it feels like almost everybody in the company is affiliated with some group in one way or another.
I did want to mention, you mentioned that the match between Omega and Janela was started late. It was the last segment. It was a quick match. Both main events tonight, NXT and Dynamite, started after 10 till.
Yeah, and I saw
Ripley and Tony, which actually was a pretty good match for what it was.
I caught the end of it. So Ripley lost again.
Yes.
What is going on with her? Are they putting her on the main roster, or what's the deal here? It feels like she's just not doing much in NXT except for putting over other people now.
I think they're really trying to get behind Tony again because they had to downplay her for so long with the whole controversy. So that's just my assessment there.
I think Ripley should be in the Rumble, and they should get her on Raw and maybe have her face.
I'm on par with that, absolutely. And Psycho Jet Black says for $2, are we ever going to get Blood and Guts a match?
Yeah, when the fans are back. I think they're waiting till the fans are back to do that match, and they may end up trying to do it in New Jersey where they were intending to do it whenever they can do it, which might not be to the second half of the year. I mean, the vaccines will probably be widely available in the spring, and I'm thinking June, July, we'll probably start seeing arenas with people again for these shows. But yeah, I don't know about WrestleMania. People keep saying what's going on with WrestleMania. I think they're going to do what the NFL does, where if the Super Bowl has 25% capacity, WrestleMania will have 25% capacity at Raymond James Stadium. I think that's what they're going to end up doing. Maybe a little bit more depending on how far along the vaccines are and if the COVID cases have dropped significantly. But yeah, it's all a big question mark right now. And yeah, I think second half of 2021 we'll get that Blood and Guts match. And Santa put his...
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah. So chat room, any other questions or comments you would like to direct towards Santa? Because, he's got to hit the road or hit the sky, I should
back
say.
to the workshop. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do here the next few days.
Yeah, he's going to be busy. We might not see him again until next year. So if you guys have anything you would like to ask him
next week for your NXT review, Jeff will be on if you wish him to be, because he's not he'll be busy doing Christmas prep for his son the night before because they're having their Christmas on the 24th.
Well, then we'll maybe get one more out of you, Santa. We'll pop one out of you for next week. All right. Let's go ahead and do your plugs. As we mentioned on the predictions video, make sure you guys check it out, the TLC predictions. Real quick before we get to that, Psycho Jet Black with another very generous super chat. Thank you, Psycho.
Santa, what is the best and worst Christmas movies? Okay. The best Christmas movies, I feel, are the ones that tell sort of my origin story, if you will, the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Those movies are tremendous. I love those movies. I also enjoy It's a Wonderful Life, of course. It's a wonderful show because it's a wonderful life. Funny. I'm so funny. So funny. The worst Christmas movie is, I forget what the name of it is, but that horror movie with Goldberg playing me. Terrible.
Okay, well, I got to go with the Home Alone movies, of course.
Those are fantastic as well. Well, the first two.
Yeah, of course. The first two, Macaulay Culkin. And, of course, Christmas Vacation is right there at the top as well. Classic. I mean, those three would be my top three.
Okay. As far as worst?
We have another super chat from Marcus. Oh, worst Christmas movie? Probably the Goldberg one.
Oh, no love for Billy Boy. It's okay. Marcus for TLR says, one present you would give each brand. Okay. Santa would honestly give the Raw brand
Vince McMahon's resignation.
Yes. You know what? That goes across the board. So yes. Very good.
Vince McMahon willingly stepped down because I do not wish death on Vince. Vince
no, of course not. Of course not.
Vince is an all-time great asset to the business. We love Vince, but he needs to step down. He needs to gracefully say, you know what? It's time for me to retire and let other people take over with a fresh vision and do what's best for the future of the company. I don't think he's going to do it because Vince is stubborn and he wants to, it's the only thing he knows is running WWE. Like, I don't think it's wired in his brain to retire. But if Vince could just gracefully step aside, I think that would be the best thing for WWE's future. Jeff, what do you think? Santa.
I honestly feel that, only one person I know that is well into their elderly years can keep going on the same job he's had his entire life.
Michael Wayne wants to know, what are your top 3 favorite TLC theme songs?
Well, I was going to get to some other questions here, so I'll get to Michael's. Calvin says, do I remember when Stone Cold gave me the stunner? That wasn't Santa Claus. That was a piece of trash. Remember, he said that on the air.
Yeah. So. That was the Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi, I think.
Steve Lombardi. God bless him. Steve Butler says, "Are you giving Breaking Bad Monopoly game for Aaron for Christmas?" I haven't seen Aaron's list yet, so if it's on the list, perhaps. Bad Santa is your favorite? That's a shame, Mr. Roll. That's a shame.
That is a good one. I watched it a couple weeks ago. That's a pretty good one.
Oh, goodness.
I haven't seen the sequel, though. I heard the sequel is not quite as good.
The sequel's worse than the first one. The first one's not even that good, I don't believe. Santa needs to give AEW a good women's division. I'm trying. Lord knows I'm in Tony's ear. I see him when he's sleeping and when he's awake, and he won't listen to me. Okay, so my top 3 TLC theme songs. The last 3 years. Okay, very good. Let's see. You've been a good boy this year, Santa. Well, I hope so, Calvin. I certainly hope so. There you go.
You've been a good boy every year, Santa. We love you.
Well, no. Calvin said that he's been a good boy this year. So,
oh, I misread it. See, even when it's put up on the big screen, I'm still half blind. I can't read things. So
you need your glasses. You're on the air because of the glare. I've been telling you that for years, Aaron. So, anyway, all right. I believe that's all. Oh, here we go. Which WWE wrestler do you wish would be your Mrs. Claus? I'm not touching that one. I'll get in trouble with the little lady.
That Riddle.
No, sir.
You want the answer some of those bro nuts.
Oh, here we go with those again. Honestly, if I didn't have Mrs. Claus already, I'd probably no, because she's a little crazy. She's a little crazy.
Don't you like her? She's a little freaky.
She's a little freaky's a whole other thing.
I heard you and Jeff like Rocky Horror a lot, and Alexa Bliss.
Well, I did appear Rocky Horror times on Jeff's behalf. Yes, that was how I got my how I started my my second appearance life. But I don't know. I mean, so many years of Rocky Horror, you get kind of desensitized to the stuff. So honestly, of the single ladies in WWE, I don't even know who's single at this point. So I will abstain from answering that question. Let's see here. Hey Santa, can Bray save Raw with Vince still in charge? Nope.
And that's a big friggin' no.
Hey Santa, do you acknowledge Roman as the head of the table? Absolutely. He is the head of the SmackDown table. No question about it.
I mean, best thing on SmackDown, and to say Omega's even on Reigns' level as a heel. I mean, I like Kenny Omega, but no. Reigns is totally killing it.
Yeah, and again, it was mentioned earlier, that they're not going to acknowledge WWE, of course, so they can't mention Roman. But for JR to even say it out loud for anybody is very, very showing of how JR has slipped in recent years as far as his verbal skills.
All right. So on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We very much appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this live stream. And if you liked Santa, give this a thumbs up, and we'll bring him back next week for one more round with Santa to talk wrestling. And that's Jeff's Talk Wrestling. We'll talk wrestling. Yeah. So Santa, what are your plugs? What would you like to promote?
Well, as the ticker says below, you can video chat with Santa before Christmas to give me your Christmas, and that's the alarm. I apologize. Goodness sakes.
It's time to sign off. It's very late.
It's Santa's bedtime. It's 11 o'clock. Yes. So you can reach me on social media at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Santa Claus JDM. You can hire me to do a video chat with your kiddos, your grandkids, your nieces, nephews, whoever. 10 minutes for $5, and that's at paypal.me/Jeff Meacham. Jeff's taking care of that for me because I'm very busy up here, as I've said. So Jeff is handling that for me. You can reach out to him as well on social media at _Jeff Meacham. So there is that.
All right. And you guys make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com. I will be covering TLC this weekend. Watch the predictions video if you haven't already. And thank you again. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay positive, and we will see you all next time. War Games.
War Games!